Autumn came to the cove, but the usual brilliant colors failed to appear in the mountains. Late rains kept the leaves green, but that didn't diminish my longing to be home for the holidays, or the children's excitement over their upcoming Thanksgiving pageant.
The Courtship of Miles Standish by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In Plymouth, land of the pilgrims, clad in doublet and hose, strode in a martial air, Miles Standish.
Big Chief Messenger!
Dad, it is not time for the Indians, and Creed is playing Massasoit. You are Governor Bradford.
Teacher, he ain't no fun.
No, but he is a very important part of the first Thanksgiving.
We can switch parts. I don't want to be no dirty Indian.
Hush, boys. I was trying to make school fun to distract the children. Those same late rains that had kept the mountains green had also ruined the fall harvest. And I'd begun to see real hunger in some of the small faces around me. Would you like to go inside with me? Oh, Miss Alice, welcome back. How was Catalicci?
As always, the children are a miracle.
Were you able to meet Dr. Ferrand? Did you tell him about what we discussed?
I did. Run along, Maddie. Dr. Ferrand cannot spare us any money at all.
We're on our own. With Miss Ida tending to family affairs in Boston and Ruby May helping with the cooking, we had more leftovers of the mission. I'd learned how hard it was to convince our neighbors to accept help, but I wasn't about to let children go hungry.
Beautiful morning.
Did you sleep well?
Oh, I was a bit preoccupied. And I thought I heard sounds in the night, as if someone was crying.
Oh, that was nothing. I was just...
He does not have to tell me.
I was homesick. It's silly, I know. I mean, I'm a grown woman.
Even grown women get homesick.
But it is not a real hardship, not like the O'Teals.
You know, homesickness is seldom a fatal disease. But if it makes thee cry, it is real. Perhaps it's time for a visit home.
No. No. There's far too much to do here. The trick is to keep busy and not think about it. All right, who can tell me what hymn do we sing that has special meaning on Thanksgiving?
I know.
Becky.
We gathered together.
Very good. Let's practice it.
We gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. He chases and makes.
Continue. Is that a duck call, Miss Alice?
No, indeed, it is for turkeys. The pastor in Catalicci says it never fails to attract turkeys.
You want to attract turkeys?
Yes, Miss Huddleston. To hunt them. Along with most of Cutter Gap, I hope. I am organizing a contest. Where I grew up, in Pennsylvania, it is a Thanksgiving tradition. The neighbors hunt together. Well, the men, that is. And they share whatever game they find. Fewer go hungry.
If everybody in the cove shares, the poorest won't feel it's charity. Even the O'Teals.
Precisely. The hunt should benefit all. And the prize for the largest turkey shall be my father's saddle.
That saddle means so much to you, Miss Alice.
To what better end could I put it?
I've been racking my brain for a way to feed more people. You're a genius, Miss Alice.
No, hardly, Miss Huddleston. Miss Huddleston? Miss Huddleston!
Oh, I can't believe you're here.
Neither can I. There was no buggy to hire at the station. I was lucky to get directions.
Oh, but why didn't you write or call? We have a telephone now.
I wanted to surprise you, little miss.
Well, come here. Come here. Miss Alice, I don't know if you remember from Asheville. This is William Huddleston, my father.
Welcome, friend. Welcome to Cutter Gap.
the Great Smokies. When I left my city home to be a school teacher at a backwoods mission, I dreamed of adventure. I wasn't ready for the real challenges of life in these mountains. I'd have given up, if not for the children. I came to Cutter Gap to teach, but they show me every day that I am here to learn.
United States Mail.
Bog? Where's Ben peddling?
Down with the influenza. I'm no official substitute. Something wrong?
It isn't here. I'm expecting a letter from a congregation in Boston. They built a new church. They're giving us the bell from the old church they tore down. They're even paying to ship it as a donation to our mission.
Shoot, preacher. You mean that thing's yours?
What thing?
A big old bell. I got dropped off the train at El Pano, no address C.
Wonderful. We'll just go down there and fetch it.
She's solid iron. Must weigh down to 1,000 pounds. Nobody ever moved that much weight across this mountain. Your bell is stuck in El Pano for good, preacher.
Preacher, how the Pilgrims know where to land? How'd they know the savages would attack them?
Good question. I'm afraid I'm not an expert in the fine points of Pilgrim history.
He's just a substitute teacher.
That's right. But you only have to put up with me for a little while. So that Miss Huddleston can spend the morning with her father. He's come all the way from Asheville.
Is that where our bell comes from?
No, it comes from further away. Massachusetts, which is where I'm from.
Uncle Bob says there's no way to get it here from El Pano. Even if you did, how you gonna get it up there?
Sometimes it's the difficulty of the task that makes it worth doing. If it were easy, it wouldn't mean as much.
What's the big bell sound like?
Imagine the sound of this bell. Only 100 times bigger. So big you can hear it all over the entire cove. The Pilgrims came all the way across the ocean because they wanted to find a place to raise their own bell. They didn't know what they'd find when they landed, but they had faith. And faith can move mountains.
It was so wonderful to have my father visiting. He loved meeting all my friends and drinking Fairlight's delicious homemade cider. But I was worried about him. He'd come from Knoxville, where he'd been litigating a difficult case. He'd lost, and he looked so worn out. But Daddy was still interested in everything about Cutter Gap.
So like home. We're grateful to the aunt of Mrs. Huddleston for permitting her to come to us.
I remember when Christy was a little girl. She wanted a tree house for the neighborhood children. I put off building it. So she organized those children, and they built it themselves. Fine tree house it was, too.
Well, I'm not surprised. She has ambitious plans for Cutter Gap as well.
Mute and amazed was Alden and listened and looked at Priscilla, thinking he'd never see her.
From the sketches I'd sent my parents in Asheville, my father immediately recognized Little Burl and Creed Allen and Mountie O'Teal.
Care a great deal about them.
I don't know how to describe it. I have never been so happy in my life. That night, my father would meet another portrait from my sketchbook. Oh, Daddy, I was just going to call you.
Well, my appetite did it for you.
Supper should be ready soon.
Oh, we're expecting one more.
Really? Who?
Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, not at all. Come on in. I'd like you to meet my father, William Huddleston. Daddy, this is Dr. Neil McNeil, one of our local heroes.
Quite local, I'm afraid. Delighted to meet you.
Pleasure.
Here it is, hot out of the oven. Possum surprise.
Looks like squirrel, Ruby May.
That is the surprise.
Squirrel.
Tastes just like chicken.
Actually, we're lucky. The harvest was terrible this year. Some in the cove have far less to eat.
Which is why we should be doubly grateful for what we have. Miss Alice, would you say grace?
Dear God, we are thankful for the presence of loved ones, for family, the greatest blessing, and for the food we share with them. May we hold in our hearts those less fortunate. Please help us to appreciate thy gifts and to share them with our neighbors. Amen.
Amen.
Reverend, will you do the honors for the possum? Let's see who's adventurous tonight.
Is there anything I can get you, Mr. Huddleston?
Please, call me William. I'll call you David.
Thank you, William. I'm glad I found you. I was hoping for a private word.
Yes?
About Christy. Miss Huddleston.
Yes.
If we were to have an understanding, possibly culminating in...
There you are, William. I was just getting these slides from a saddlebag. They're a fair illustration or research on trachoma. I was going to show Christy.
Bet you were.
What's that, Reverend?
Nothing, Doctor. Just marveling at the precision of your timing.
There you all are. What on earth have you been talking about? I thought you went to bed.
Well, I was reading in front of the fire and I fell asleep. What's your excuse, young lady?
Oh, there's so much to read. Silas Marner, Washington's inaugural address, The Myth of Icarus, Grimm's fairy tales. When you teach 12 grades, there's quite a list.
I never realized.
Good to Dad before I came here.
Before you came here, you hardly ever wore your hair up.
Well, it just seemed more teacherly this way.
Yeah, it is very grown up. As you are. I can understand how your minister's so taken.
Well, I'm not too grown up to miss you.
I miss you, too.
I think about you and Mom all the time. About the magnolia tree. About my room. And my teddy bear.
You may be grown up, but you're still my little miss, aren't you? Good night.
Good night, Daddy. I was thrilled to see my father again. But I was still worried about the hard winter ahead and the bleak prospects for Thanksgiving in Cutter Gap. Miss Alice's hunt, her solution for feeding the hungry, had met with mixed reaction. Even the children knew how hard it would be.
See, how gonna be winning that prize?
We ain't seen hide no hair, no turkeys. They don't call this Turkey Creek for nothing. Yahoo!
Yeah!
Creed Allen chose to hunt with Miss Alice because she was the best shot in all of Cutter
I
Gap.
didn't mean it to ask you, ma'am. But I hope you catch that prize turkey.
Hush.
If we win that prize, how we gonna share that saddle?
first we must locate and dispatch the turkey creed. I've seen turkeys around here, but I've never hunted them.
No wonder. Our turkeys are so small. I ain't never seen one with more meat on it than a squirrel.
Well, there must be larger ones. However, I will admit that I am at a loss to know where they are.
What we need is a real tracker. Then we'd have to divide that saddle up 3 ways.
A real tracker. Creed Allen, you are a very bright young man.
Alice, to what do I owe this honor? Except for emergencies and surgery. You haven't been to visit in...
It's been a while.
Extraordinary, isn't it? The power people we love have over us, even when they're not there.
Indeed. And how Margaret would enjoy hearing us admit it. I've come to ask a favor.
This is a red letter day.
They mentioned to me once that thee knows a hunter. The best in these 4 states, you said. An expert.
Alice, you shocked me. Never thought you'd be so desperate as to bring in a ringer just to protect your saddle.
This is serious, Neil. Families in this cove will starve this winter. If your ringer can help me find game, he's worth 10 saddles.
His name's Billy Long. But he keeps to himself. He's not easy to find. And even if I can, he may not want to join your hunt. I'll do my best.
Thank you, Neil.
So where'd that darn bird have got off to? I seen him right over here. At least I thought I did. Sorry. It don't matter. That old Tom's out here somewheres, and tomorrow, we're gonna be ready for him.
You cannot expect them to come just because you call them. You've got to rouse them out.
It's just the approach I'd expect from you, Doctor.
Hey, you're not going to get nothing arguing like a bunch of women. Present company accepted, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, this here
I think.
turkey call was handed down to me by Creed's great-granddaddy.
Best to let the young'uns grow up and breed. More to eat in the long run.
Mr. Billy Long, I presume.
You're the best hunter I ever seen.
We are greatly in need of thy talents.
Well, I know where some places might be with some game, but it's hard to get to, and might not be anything there.
Anything and everything will be a godsend, sir.
Miss Alice had found a skillful ally, and Creed had found a hero.
Can you think of anything else? David's mother sent some candy from Boston. I thought maybe the O'Teal children would like it.
I don't think so.
But why not?
Because this is too much. Now, I know you bought it with your own pay and all, and it's yours to give. You got a good heart, but this, it'll shame Swanee O'Teal.
Fairlight, her children are starving.
And that shames her enough. Any more and she won't be able to go on. Now, maybe you can get her to take the beans and the cornmeal.
No, that won't be enough.
She'll make it last. And when that's gone, then maybe you can get her to take some more. But if you take this all to her now, she'll turn it down.
Thank you, Fairlight. I'll take the beans and the cornmeal over after school.
Miss Christy says if they got horses, carriages, and Nashville, but I don't believe it.
Well, it's true. They're called automobiles, but only rich people can afford to buy them.
Have you ever rode in one?
I have.
With Miss Christy?
No, Miss Christy wasn't any older than you are, Mountie. But she flat out refused to ride in that automobile. She said it was noisy and dirty and a horse was better. And she was right. That automobile never went more than 5 miles an hour and it broke down about every 10 feet. The horse was faster.
Are you telling tales on me?
No, just a little history lesson.
Uh-huh.
We'll pay you back for all this here food. Ever read say it come spring.
That is not necessary.
We'll pay you.
Mountie, where are your shoes?
Oh, she went and pulled them off again. Lillian, you're gonna be the death of me. You already had the croup 3 times this fall.
Mountie, you have to keep your shoes on. If you're cold, it's easier to get sick.
Shoes hurt. They're her brother's. She done worn hers flat out, and George's old one's still too big for her.
I know she told me at school. But look what I have here. They're almost new.
They be from the mission barrels. We can't take them. Nathan won't allow it.
They are from the mission barrels, but Mountie won them fair and square. She finished her spelling test before anyone else, and all her words were correct. I promised you there'd be a prize, didn't I? Really, Mrs. O'Teal, she earned them. Let me see your foot. How about that? A perfect fit.
Do you see him yet? We're not gonna see him with them branches growing out of your head. They're not growing out of my head. I don't want to scare him off, Saul. You think a walking tree ain't gonna scare him? Wait up for me! Where'd he go this time? He didn't get past us. I know that much. Maybe he flew away. He can't fly. Can we? Wait! Wait up! Whoa!
Mr. Huddleston, thank you, but this is unnecessary.
I like to keep busy.
I, too, find it hard to rest. It's a lovely spot for it, though.
Christy writes about you often. She says you're an inspiration.
Well, she's young. But she's made a fine beginning here.
You love this place, too? Same as my daughter does.
I was imagining spring. when the mountains bloom, the most joyous are the flowering trees. Dogwood, redbud, azalea.
The winter is going to be very hard here, isn't it?
Well, it's hard the best of circumstances, but at present, we haven't any seed corn to plant next year's crop.
There must be seed somewhere. I could wire Asheville, or even Atlanta.
I can see where Christy gets her optimism. Thank you, but even if you found some, neither our mission nor our neighbors could afford to pay for it. No, we must concentrate on finding game for the winter.
So you imagining spring trying to make it arrive sooner by the sheer force of your will.
I suppose I was.
You're looking mighty pleased with yourself.
I got Mountie a pair of shoes today. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's the small victories that count.
That's not such a small victory.
Daddy, there are so many more to be won. Better hygiene, adult education classes, college preparation. Did I tell you that Zadie Spencer is a genius at mathematics?
Christy.
And the women's handicrafts are worth far more than they know.
I heard from your mother before I left Knoxville. She got your letter about not coming home for Thanksgiving. She treasures that holiday.
I can't leave. Some of our neighbors don't know where their next meal's coming from. And their children don't have a lunch to bring to school. I can't come home right now, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure your mother will understand
Then
that.
I'll write to her. I'll try to be home for Christmas.
Christy, listen to me. Maybe you shouldn't get so involved with this place, with these people.
But I want to be involved. That's why I'm here.
Now, don't misunderstand. They're good people. And Miss Alice is a wonder, but life... is so hard here. I don't want you to be hurt by it. Or disappointed.
Daddy, the children never disappoint me. They lift me up. They make any hardship worthwhile. I promise you. That's what I have to make Mother see.
I don't think you should write to her. I think we should telephone her.
Oh, but we've never called further than El Pano. David said it's very complicated, something about trunk lines.
All you need is a good operator and the right lawyer to negotiate with.
We tried to get through, and it took hours. But we finally got to talk to her mama on the telephone.
Don't seem possible. The wires Preacher put up. I know they joined up with other wires. Reckon they could reach all the way over North Carolina. But how can anybody hear it through them? Like magic.
No, it's not, Zach. It's science. A telephone machine turns your voice into an electrical impulse. It's like a tiny bolt of lightning. You know, it travels at fantastic speed through the wire, and the machine turns it into your voice again at the other end.
That's a right powerful machine. Who figured out how to make it?
A brilliant and persistent man called Alexander Graham Bell, who also happened to be a Scotsman. Took him many years of his life.
Dr. McNeil was a scientist. He trusted facts. For Fairlight, feelings and intuition were far more real. Jeb will be back today.
Oh, I ain't fretting. He's just been gone a week. Last year he was gone over a month, and that's when we got so scared. He's fine.
Well, the weather's nicer this year. And you said he's renting a better wagon.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just an old worrywart.
Fairlight's husband was overdue, and she knew he had with him all the cash from the sale of their homemade honey.
me to go by the love down the shady road.
All right. Step down real slow.
Mama didn't sound upset last night. I hope she understands about Thanksgiving.
She's disappointed, but she'll live through it. Have a good day at school.
What are you doing today?
Well, Miss Alice invited me to go hunting, but a city boy like me would only slow her down. Seems I'm going to inspect a church bell instead.
Have a good time.
I intend to. Not the size, the weight. You need a block and tackle to raise her, and a freight wagon with reinforced wheels.
It would sink in the first mud hole. We'd have to use a sled.
And that might work if you had enough men.
I can't ask them. Struggling to get ready for this winter. I prayed so hard we could do this. But Uncle Bob was right. It would take a miracle.
So I've come to you now with an offer and proffer of marriage, made by a good man and true, Miles Standish, captain of Plymouth.
If the great captain of Plymouth is so very eager to wed me, why doesn't he come to take the trouble and woo me?
Because he's too chicken-hearted. He is not. He is.
Little girl, Crete. That is not funny. All right, you're all dismissed for the day. Be careful going home. Good night. Watch out, honey. Are you cold, Fairlight? Would you like to go inside for our lesson?
I'm fine. Let's just sit here. Where were we?
It's Jeb Spencer. Whoa! Jeb, are you all right? What happened?
Except for this knot on my head. Some boys jumped me. One must have hit me with the pistol.
At least they didn't get your horse. He's over there.
She ain't mine. She's hired. If I don't catch her, I'll owe for that, too.
Come on, David, let's get that horse.
Really?
Fairlight's fears had come true. The Spencer family would have to endure the loss of a year's income. Creed Allen's hero worship of the great hunter Billy Long continued unabated. Creed followed Billy everywhere, and they were inseparable.
You gotta know that it's not good enough just to know where to look for them. You gotta learn their character. You gotta get a feeling for them. You gotta think like a turkey.
What's turkey think about?
Not much. But that's the secret. Hmm?
Look what Billy caught!
Mr. Long, you're a man of impressive skills.
He's gonna teach me how to make a fish basket of my own. I found some berries for war paint when I played Big Chief Massasoit.
You don't need berries to be some dirty Indian. Just rub mud in your face.
Creed Allen? That was an unfortunate and unfounded remark. Now, I know for a fact that Miss Huddleston has taught you to think more clearly than that. How do you arrive at the conclusion that Indians are dirty?
They're savages, Miss Alice.
Oh, I see. And why is that?
Everybody knows it. They go around getting drunk, stealing people's food. They're sneaky.
Has he ever met an Indian?
No, ma'am. Don't care to.
Yes, I think you have, son. I'm Cherokee.
Uh-huh. And I'm Big Chief Master Soot.
Remember that hunting and fishing we did? That's the Cherokee way. Sneaky.
But you can't be. He ain't wild. He don't look like no Indian.
Well, just part Cherokee.
You're a half-breed?
Quarter. My grandfather was full-blooded Cherokee. His name was Longfeather. My father only used part of his name.
Was lying heathen, trying to make out he wasn't no savage.
Oh, he wasn't ashamed, son. He kept the old ways he learned from his father, just like his father before him. They lived quietly. And I'll tell you what, if we get that prize turkey, my Indian grandfather's spirit will whisper in your ear.
No,
Yes.
I ain't going hunting. No dirty Indian. Not ever.
Creed's prejudice saddened Miss Alice, and me. But I think the person it made most unhappy was Creed himself.
Your life.
I got robbed. All the cash from the honey, they took it. The wagon's wrecked. We'll pay for that too.
Listen, you're alive. That's the important thing. I shouldn't have let you go. I knew something was going to happen.
We got no money now. Nothing to fall back on.
We'll be all right. We'll make it through the winter somehow. We'll be all right.
We'll do such a thing.
Now, Jim said he didn't think they were criminals, just desperate men whose families are starving.
You all right, Dad?
Fine, just tired. That horse of Jeb's. Talk about a stubborn animal. Reminds me of me.
Daddy! 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 Wait! Somebody help me! Get Dr. McNeil! Somebody help!
Christy, your father has suffered a stroke. He's still unconscious. I think it'd be wise to send for your mother.
Is he going to die?
I don't know.
They telephoned from El Pano. Somebody in Raven Gap needs the doc bad. There's a baby sick.
You go on, Neil. We'll keep watch. That's all anyone can do here.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
That night was the longest of my life. I sat by my father and held his hand, but he never opened his eyes. Dawn in the mountains always filled me with hope. But when the sun finally came up, I still felt lost in the dark.
Daddy, it's morning.
Do you remember what you used to tell me when I was a little girl? makes the world new again.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea.
I reckon today's gonna be the same as yesterday. No school.
I say we teach our own selves. Look, I can play Miles Standish. War is a terrible trade, but sweet is the smell of gunpowder.
Now you be quiet, Creed Allen. There's sickness at the mission. If you gotta talk, you can pray for Miss Christy's daddy.
That is an excellent idea. Why don't we all bow our heads?
Holy Jehoshaphat!
That is not a prayer, Zach.
I know, but preacher, look. That sure is a fine lady. Is she a queen?
I think she's Miss Christy's mom.
Where's Christy? She hadn't slept in 2 nights. I advised her to lie down.
Mother?
I'm so glad you're here.
Don't sugarcoat it, Eddie. Tell me the truth.
William's condition is grave. He may not regain consciousness. If he does, there could be serious damage, possibly irreversible.
But there must be something you can do.
Hush, darling.
I'm afraid nothing can be done.
No, you're wrong. I know you are.
If we're lucky, he could improve enough to be moved to Asheville, where you could nurse him. Or you might consider a convalescent home.
Mother, wait for Dr. McNeil. He should be back soon. He'll know what to do. He won't just give up, I promise you.
Your father's physician, darling. Please let us alone.
But you don't know Dr. McNeil. I've seen him work miracles.
Christy, I'm not interested in discussing country doctors at this moment. Now, please do as I ask. How is he?
No change.
I brought some herbs. Grandam Spencer used to brew them in a tea. It'll soothe him when he wakes up.
I'm certain he'll appreciate it. Is Mr. Spencer well? Blows to the head can be dangerous. He hasn't had any dizziness or fainting spells since his return.
No, he's fine. Miss Alice, I know it ain't the time to be asking, but I got to. Is there any more work for me to do here or chores that Jeb could take off the
Our mission is, we're short of funds at present. Miss Spencer, I have a little. Perhaps we could arrange a loan.
No. We can't go into debt right now. Thank you, though.
Then allow me to pay for the herbs.
Grandam Spencer would never take no money for her healing. She said it was a gift from the Lord. Now, don't you fret. Jeb and me, we're gonna be just fine. We got each other. We'll be all right.
She is treating me like a child.
Perhaps it comforts her to think of you that way. Just now, thy mother's terribly worried about thy father.
I cannot stand by and watch my father slip away.
You can love him and pray for him. What news from Raisin Gap?
Pneumonia, brought on by influenza. Little Maud Tucker. She pulled through, though. She'll be fine.
Thanks to their skill?
I rode all night to get back. Who's William?
About the same. Mrs. Huddleston has arrived with their family physician, Dr. Edward Brandt.
Oh, good. I'll be able to get the complete medical history.
Neil, Mrs. Huddleston does not wish thee to attend her husband.
Does Christy agree?
It is not her decision.
It's late. Did Mr. Grantling keep you all after school?
These are for your daddy. We just want you to know how much we hope he gets better.
We've been praying for him. Real hard. I said the Lord's Prayer 26 times.
Thank you, Sam Houston. Thank you all. Mama? Mama, are you all right?
I'm fine. I've just been making plans. As soon as your father's well enough to travel, we're going to take the first train back to Asheville. I'm sure he's going to be up to it soon.
Of course he will. Neil, Dr. McNeil will probably come back today.
That subject is closed. We discussed that, Christy.
No. We haven't. You wouldn't listen to me. Mama, Dr. McNeil saves lives. I've seen him.
Christy. I know you think the world of your Dr. McNeil. Certainly seems so from your letters. But I cannot believe that any man who would practice medicine in this godforsaken place would be capable of helping your father.
Just talk to him, please.
Christy, this is hard for me. Dr. Brandt has given his opinion. All we can do now is wait and see. I choose to be optimistic. However, I believe we're all going to be together Thanksgiving. It'll be wonderful having you home again.
Of course, I'll come for a while.
Your father has missed you so terribly. It's going to do him a world of good to be able to see you every day. I really can't do without you right now. Well, I'm going to go wash my face and renew my outlook, as Aunt Eugenia used to say. Won't be a moment.
Bless Mama. I'm not letting you go. Do you hear me? You have too much to do. You have to give me away at my wedding. You have to be my partner for the first dance. You have to hold your grandchildren. You have to play lions and tigers with them in front of the fire. You have to let them get oatmeal all over your vest. Daddy, it's not time for you to go. Daddy, come back to us, please. Daddy.
room. The flowers the children brought the other day were so lovely.
Christy tells me he sat up last night.
Yes. He's improving every day. Dr. Brandt left for Asheville this morning. He'll be back next week to visit William, of course. Just a matter of time now till we can all go home. I'm sorry. You've been so kind. I sound ungrateful. I should be thanking you.
It is we who are thankful for thy daughter.
When I first received Christy's letters, I was jealous of you. She's my only child. She seems to feel so close to you.
My only child is also a daughter, Margaret.
Oh. Does Margaret live near here?
I'm not certain where she's living. I haven't heard from her in quite some time.
I'm sorry to be taking Christy home. I have no choice. Her father needs her. I need her.
Mrs. Huddleston?
My name is Julia.
Julia, has they thought about what Christy needs?
Meaning your mission? I would have thought the reverse was true.
I meant that the children need her. And I believe she needs them. She has a gift, Julia. But her work here has only begun.
The attorneys agreed that the most important fact of their case against the steamship company is the small number of lifeboats aboard the Titanic, tragically inadequate for a vessel carrying thousands of passengers. Are you tired, Daddy? Would you like me to stop?
No. I like hearing
About the law? I know.
your voice.
The White Star Line would not comment, except to say that it was not negligent in the case of the Titanic.
Well, that's cheerful reading. Lawsuits and shipwrecks do not make the best medicine, darling. He's put the newspaper away. Hello, my love. Brought these to brighten your room. You are looking much better.
To my mother, I would always be a little girl. How could I go back to Asheville and be that person again? Yet how could I stay here and desert my father? My dilemma was small compared to the life and death problems of Cutter Gap, which preoccupied even the children.
That bird thinks he's smarter than us. I think he is, too. I don't think we're gonna win that prize. I know. Don't got no horse for that saddle anyway. Maybe if we dressed up like bears, we could scare that turtle. We better think of something else. Yeah.
How's the hunt?
Oh, the game is trickling in. Sam Houston and Little Burl claim they've seen a prize-winning tom turkey. They may win on imagination alone.
I may be late tonight, Alice.
Going to El Pano to see about the bell?
No. You have the right idea. It's more important to help these people. If I can't get them seed corn, at least I can help them get ready for winter. Patch cabins and chop firewood. It'll keep me busy. I won't think so much.
About Miss Huddleston's departure?
I can't believe she's really going, Alice. I keep hoping a miracle will happen and she'll be able to stay.
Yes. I keep trying to visualize that bell on the top of that steeple.
Our neighbors don't need a bell. They need the game your hunt will provide. In my two hands.
Creed Island? I'm meeting Billy Long up on Pebble Mountain today. We could use that help if they would care to join us.
No, ma'am. Reckon not.
Very well. I trust he will have a productive afternoon.
Seven and 3, what does that make?
10.
Correct. But we can't write 10 because we don't have enough room. So we put the 0 right here, and we carry the 1. Carry means we put the 1 right here, and we add it to this column.
See, carry the 1.
You can eat your lunch now and work those figures later.
I'll work them now.
Don't you have any lunch, George?
Sure, I just ain't hungry. Try to get my dolly for that. Don't need her. Already got one.
Mountie, I have some cornbread.
No, thank you.
Oh, it's got honey on it.
I can't. I got to trade for it.
All right. You can trade me your doll, but I don't have a pocket to put her in, so you'll have to keep her for me. Can you do that?
Yes, teacher.
I think she's worth some milk, too.
Well, we tried. Sure wish we'd caught that bird. We've never seen one that big. Sam Houston. You gotta stop jabbering about it. Sam Houston! Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I believe I am.
Get him! Get him!
Yeah! Get him!
No, Paul! Maybe that bird will start to live after all!
I wish Vincent hadn't gone home.
You know what his problem is? He's got no faith. That's what. He can give up if he wants, but no dumb bird's gonna best the likes out of you and me. Is he?
No, surely isn't. Look, it's him.
This time he's not getting away.
But it's just us. How are we gonna catch him by ourselves?
I'll tell you how. We're gonna get into this here stream. We're gonna sneak up on him like two old crawdads. He won't see us if we stay real low to the water.
Yeah, he won't see.
We're gonna get him this time. No turkey can outsmart us.
Yeah.
Use that branch for camouflage, so he can't see you.
Water's cold.
Quit crying, it ain't so bad. Oh, dang, that's cold.
I told you.
And stay low. I'm trying. Keep that branch up around your face, little girl.
I can't see past that branch.
There he is.
I can't believe it.
Give him everything. Come on. Let's get him know everything. Let's go. Let's get him.
Well, you're coming along fine. Much better since my last visit. A few more days, you'll be on your way to Asheville.
That's wonderful news, isn't it, darling?
Of course, you tire easily, and there's still some numbness on your left side. But that's to be expected.
He can't use his arm or move his leg more than a little. When will that get better?
It's difficult to say. The paralysis could remain, or it could improve with time. You might even be able to use a wheelchair someday.
You're saying I'm an invalid?
I'm saying you're lucky, William. You're alive.
William's so active. He loves his life, Edward.
His life is going to have to change. William is not the man he used to be.
To Don't you think you might be writing your patient off too soon?
And who are you, sir?
I'm Neil McNeil. I'm also a physician. A stroke, as you know, doesn't necessarily mean a living death. There are all kinds of new treatments.
With all due respect, Doctor, William Huddleston is my patient. I'll thank you to keep your opinion to yourself. Goodbye, Julia.
Goodbye, Edward.
Mrs. Huddleston.
You must have patience waiting, Doctor.
Mrs. Huddleston, is there anything I can do for you?
No. Thank you. I'm sorry. I've been so preoccupied. We haven't had a chance to talk. My daughter speaks very highly of you.
I think a lot of her, too.
So her father has told me.
Mrs. Huddleston, I hope you won't think I'm out of place if I tell you something. Christy loves you and her father very much, and she only wants to help.
You're angry with me, aren't you?
I'm trying not to be.
Christy, Edward Brandt has been our family doctor since before you were born. I know he seems cautious.
He has given up on Daddy, and you're letting him.
I love your father. I want to do what's best for him.
Then let Dr. McNeil examine him.
Christy, I will not be spoken to that way.
I have to. I can't stand to see my father like this, and I know you can't either.
You're only a girl. Much too young to understand.
Mama. Look at me. I'm almost 20 years old. I've been living here for a year now. And I've been doing just fine.
Are you? Keeping one man dangling when you obviously have feelings for another?
Dr. McNeil is my friend. I respect his skill and dedication, that's all.
Christy, he may be the best country doctor in the world, but he's still a country doctor.
By choice. He went to a fine medical school in Scotland. He could have gone to any big city and probably been rich and famous, but he chose to practice here because he loves these people. Mama, please. Please let me send for him. What harm could it do?
It could break your father's heart. If Dr. McNeil's treatment didn't work, if your father's hopes were raised only to be crushed, it could kill him. I will not take that risk. I can't. Please don't ask me again.
Off our land, you heathen savage!
Creed Allen, you are an intelligent young man, and yet you persist in saying the most ignorant things. Now look at this land. These mountains. The land that your cabin is built on. Do you know who settled it?
My great-granddaddy.
Before him?
You're gonna say Indians owned it.
No, sir. Because the Indian does not believe that anyone owns the land. They believe that we are custodians. That we are all supposed to take care of it. Exactly as it says in the Bible. But they were here first, and we run them off.
Because they were savages.
No, sir. Because we were greedy. 75 years ago, our army came in and forced the Cherokee to move away. 15,000 Cherokee. Now, what would you do if the army came in and forced your whole family to move thousands of miles away?
I'd fight them.
Some of them did fight, and they died. They were courageous but outgunned, so they were forced to leave.
But the Cherokee refused to ride in the Army's wagons. They walked those thousands of miles, and thousands of them died on the way. And they called that the Trail of Tears. Some, however, escaped and hid in these mountains, like Billy Long's family.
Then they was cowards.
Creed, thee does not believe that.
They was cowards. People wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Don't you believe them. Don't you believe me either. Believe thine own eyes and ears. Now, Billy Long's a good man. A man you were right to admire. A man that I would be proud to have as a friend. And thee would too, if thee would listen to thy heart.
Working mighty hard, ain't you, preacher? You ought to be praying, not fixing Bob Allen a meal.
Bob didn't need me to pray. He needed a hand here so he and Jeb could sell firewood in El Peno.
You helped him cut it. 3 cords worth. I hear you've been doing chores all over the cove.
A few, here and there.
Well, I know folks are obliged. Is there something we could do for you?
Just tell everyone to come to Thanksgiving dinner at the mission.
Yeah, not much food around for Thanksgiving dinner.
Nope. But at least we'll all be together.
You're lucky I didn't think you were a turkey. I might have shot you.
How'd you know it was me?
No turkey makes that much noise.
Come on! How'd you know? I crept up just like you showed me.
You gotta think like what you're tracking. I thought like you. So, now you want to hunt with me?
I want to go back to the way things was.
We can't. One that died this year can't be brought back to life. But that dead corn fertilizes the soil, feeds the new plants that grow in the springtime. You can't go back. But you can go forward. If you're smart enough to think like a Cherokee. Do that.
Is that for the O'Teals?
Yes.
I've seen them going home from school. Mountie is the one with big eyes, and her older brother always wears his hat.
That's Smith O'Teal. He says he doesn't feel dressed without it.
They're very poor, aren't they?
The father abandoned them, except for rare visits. Swanee O'Teal does the best she can, but she has so many children. I've got to find a way to get her to take these.
Maybe we could take these baskets over together. I'd like to meet Mrs. O'Teal.
You're only saying that to be polite. Now that I'm coming home, it doesn't matter anymore.
I'm sorry you think I'm so heartless.
I don't think you're heartless.
I'm trying to understand, Christy, what hold this place has on you. What it is about these people. Won't you let me try? You are my child. Your dreams do matter to me.
Well, it won't be like a tea party in Asheville.
I didn't think it would be.
My mother had never been anywhere like the O'Teal cabin. I wondered if she could take it. The stench was overwhelming, exactly like my first visit to the O'Teals. I thought my mother might faint, but she didn't.
Oh, my.
Teacher, nice to see you. Excuse the mess. My boys brought back their share of Miss Henderson's hunt.
Swanee, this is my mother, Julia Huddleston. Mama, this is Swanee O'Teal.
I'm delighted to meet you.
Appreciate you bringing them baskets, but we can't keep them.
Please, they're for Thanksgiving from the mission to everyone in the cove.
Miss Christy, we can't.
This tea is delicious. Is it dandelion?
It's elder blossom. It is good to drink, and it's good to wash in if you have a rash or the scrofula.
Fascinating. Now, where would you find elder blossoms this time of year? In Carolina, elder blooms June or July.
What they do here, too. I pick them then and dry them. I got bunches yonder hanging on the line. Come on, I'll show you. Here's coals, too, but now not near as good as dogwood bark does. This here's elder blossom, and this in here is hound's tongue.
You certainly know your plants.
Oh, my granny, she had something for a cure for every ailment. She had hound's tongue for the cough, and salsify for bellyache, and sassafras for the ague.
You know, this kind of learning is precious, worth far more than beans and cornmeal, but I'd be so grateful if you'd trade us. Well, I could ask 100 questions.
Well, I reckon I could do that.
I'd underestimated my mother. She soothed Swanee's pride as gently as Fairlight would have.
Are you going away?
Yes. I have to go home and help take care of my father.
Are you going forever?
I don't know. I hope not.
I love you, teacher.
I love you, Mary.
Hello, ladies. Patient from Low Gap paid me in gingerbread. I couldn't possibly eat it all before it goes stale, so who wants some?
Me.
Want some? Here, you take that. You boys can split that.
I drew this, Doc. It's the first thing I seen after you fixed my eyes.
Dr. McNeil saved Becky's sight. She had trachoma and he invented a new treatment.
It's beautiful, Becky. I'll treasure it always.
Dr. McNeil, I know I have no right to ask this, but I'd appreciate it if you would examine my husband and give us your opinion.
I'll come by first thing tomorrow.
Not exactly the heavyweight champion, am I?
I've seen worse. I can't promise you'll be able to box 10 rounds with Jack Johnson, although I do see room for progress here.
I knew it.
A stroke is like a stone passing through the brain. It wreaks havoc with one part, but the other parts could be retrained to take over. Exercises will help it along.
Dr. Brandt never mentioned that.
Well, there are those doctors of the old school who don't believe in physical therapy. They believe once the damage is done that it's irreparable. I, however, believe that the brain can be retaught to control the muscles so that the paralysis can be reversed.
How? How long?
It's hard to say. It'll not be easy. A lot depends on the strength of your will. But if it's anything like your daughter's, we should be seeing progress soon.
My father could get better. Neil could help him. My prayers had been answered. But joy wasn't the only emotion I was feeling.
Why do you look so sad?
I have to go back to Asheville. My mother needs me.
I know. Alice told me. You've done a lot of good here, Christy. I know we've had our differences from time to time, but I've got to give credit where it's due.
I'm fine. All that matters now is getting my father better and making sure the people of the Cove have what they need to survive.
Sorry to see you go.
I'll miss you too. The next days almost flew by. Between helping Dr. McNeil with my father and teaching school, I didn't have time to think about leaving the mission. But it was on my mind just the same.
5 more times.
You're a tough man, McNeil.
No tougher than you.
You didn't sleep either?
We each have our worries, I reckon.
Have you seen Miss Alice?
She's left every morning before dawn to go hunting.
I'd been avoiding Miss Alice. I couldn't talk to her about leaving. I knew my father needed me, but I still felt that I was letting Miss Alice down.
You could catch her tomorrow, if you wanted.
What kept you awake for late?
I had this dream.
A nightmare?
No. It's the best dream I ever had. I was out walking in the woods, and I seen this quail. And it was like she wanted me to follow her. So I did, to this place I'd never been. And when I got there, all my worries was gone.
Why? What did you find?
I don't know. That's what I can't remember. I stayed up all night. I think it had something to do with our reading lessons. I think I could find the place where I first seen the quail. All morning, something's been telling me to go there. Would you care to take one last walk with me?
I wouldn't miss it.
This might be it. I don't know. We've come so far. Maybe I just want it to be.
I've never seen so many growing in one place before.
Do they taste good?
Yeah, when they're ripe like this, you can make breads and preserves and jams and all kinds of things that people can eat or sell to rich folk in Knoxville at Christmas time.
There's enough here for the whole cove. All we have to do is organize the women. Fairlight. This could be the difference. The extra food and money people need to get through.
It's like manna from heaven. Just like that story we read in the Bible.
Full grown. Why so high? You found him. Be off with the crack of the guns. Aim where he'll fly.
That's a prize turkey if I ever did see one.
This little brother gave himself to keep us alive. We must thank him. Wadu,
What do?
we ask your permission to take your body into ours, to enrich us. Wadu.
What do?
Gentlemen, I do believe that I have finally found the use for which this turkey call was intended. The pestering Catalici who loaned it to me is apparently unable to tell the difference between a turkey and a goose. However, none of our catch can hold a candle to this marvel of a turkey brought in by Mr. Creed Allen. And so this saddle now passes from one good man to another. Congratulations.
This is yours as much as mine. And seeing you got a horse, you take it for a while.
You want to learn to ride bareback? Like an Indian?
Yes, sir.
Hands off our saddle!
Miss Huddleston, I feel as if I have not seen you in weeks.
We've both been very busy. Fairlight and I found a grove of persimmons today. There's enough for each family in the cove to eat or sell.
Well done. I was not mistaken in thee, Christy. Thee has been a shining light for this mission.
Miss Alice, you have been so good to me. Please don't be angry at me for leaving.
Did they think I was angry? They haven't a choice. Thy family needs thee.
I know. And, I love my father. And I want to see him get better more than anything.
But he does not want to go home. And that makes you feel like a bad daughter.
I haven't finished my work here. I haven't even begun. It's all a failure.
It is not, Miss Huddleston. I just saw Mountie O'Teal tying her new shoes. That's not a failure. Nor is Ruby May's newfound confidence, nor Zadie Spencer discovering mathematics. You have succeeded with those children. And thee has planted a seed in all the others that will bloom someday beyond thy wildest imagining. Thee has brought knowledge and joy here. Thee has not failed.
I was grateful to Miss Alice, but I didn't feel very joyful. As each day passed, the more I dreaded saying goodbye. How could I leave the mission? How could I leave my children? I prayed for a miracle and got more than I asked for.
There. That should keep the weather out.
How can you feel like sprucing things up when Miss Christy's leaving?
This is how I want her to remember us, Ruby Mae. Bright and shining, and looking our best.
Preacher! Preacher! Come look!
We was afraid the sled might break apart, so we used everything we could find to keep it together. Even some old long johns. You done a lot of hard work. And not just lately. We're obliged. And we reckon this here bill means something to you, preacher.
No more than what you've done. Thank you. All of you.
Hip, hip! Hooray! 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 Hip, hip! Hooray!
This here's my friend. Billy Long?
Long feather.
The holiday finally arrived. Our Thanksgiving pageant was at last performed. The Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, and once again, brave Miles Standish wooed the fair Priscilla. To our great delight, the people of Cutter Gap did gather together at the mission to celebrate Thanksgiving. Among them were the Huddlestons, my mother and father.
I still fall down like a baby.
It doesn't matter. You're getting better and you're going to get well.
I agree, Doctor. The prognosis is very good.
Thanks to my two drill sergeants here. And you?
Oh, my goodness. Dr. McNeil will never be able to thank you enough. You gave him back to us.
Now, your mother has something she wants to tell you.
Christy, your father's coming along so well, it doesn't seem fair for you to have to leave now.
Are you sure?
It's a Thanksgiving gift from us to you.
I love you.
For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. skies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
I had so much to be thankful for. The mission, the children, my friends, and my parents, who loved me enough to let me follow my heart. That was the sweetest gift of all.
Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
My dear friends, we gather to give thanks to God for his many blessings. May this bountiful food nourish our bodies, and may we serve and love each other in all that we do. Amen. Amen. Doctor, when you wish.
In your eyes of truth they'll find the light of hope, so let it shine. Take the light to the mountain, Christy. Do what your heart says to do.